Hi, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us again for Resident Alien Season 2. I'm assuming you've all caught up with Season 1 prior to watching Season 2, Episode 1. Yes?
We're all caught. Well, I know I'm
If not,
caught
go.
up.
Yeah, I
I,
sat and watched Resident Alien Season 1 yesterday and finished it off today.
Yeah.
Fun again to watch.
Hold on.
Yeah. So,
Ever since we decided to start this to cleanse the palate, so to speak, I've been drip feeding it across the day, so it's like been saving episodes. But this is one that I've actually. It's been. I want to binge watch it, but I also want to stay and savor it a little bit. It's like this was a good episode. Felt heartwarming. Maybe save it the next episode for tomorrow, and you like waking up in the morning. It's like I got an hour until I need to log on to work. Coffee, episode. So I haven't even had the discipline to like wait for the evening, the afternoon to like sit down and have a dinner and watch it. It's literally been I wake up, jump on, watch the next episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the unfortunate side that I can't do that. I literally can't do it. I just basically binge watch because I've got a number of other things on my list. As I said, I've been watching season 1 of NCIS as well. I've downloaded
Let's go
the
back.
movies to rewatch. Operation Petticoat was one of them, and I rewatched Black Friday with Bruce Campbell. And then it was the same again, Time Team, a couple episodes of Time Team. So I've always got stuff on, and even put a pop out to the charity shop today. Because I know I'll not be able to do it next weekend. So I managed to get it, and I got a big pile of John Wayne.
Ah.
Aye, I was very ecstatic, shall we say, for John Wayne.
Uh-huh.
So I do like my John Wayne stuff. What can I say? So,
Nothing wrong with that at all.
mm-hmm. And one of the girls was actually laughing. She just going, seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it. She says, my dad was a big John Wayne fan, so I've seen them all. Seen it, seen it.
I'll be standing at the end of the line. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that.
A whole pile. Let's see, 8, 5, 15. But 18 videos for £3.
Ooh, that's good.
That's
Yep.
a really good haul.
Yeah.
So it was really good, and 2 of them were box sets as well.
Wow.
So I was very happy with it, but that's for next Saturday. So it is. So I was just reading the private chat. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
it helps.
initial, before we go into it, what was your thoughts based on season 1, the continuation?
I was so glad they managed. They don't seem to drop the ball. You see a lot of several shows that these days seem to start at a really good start and then they go downhill. They seem to have kept up so far, at least. The taking the mickey out of everybody.
Yeah.
Compared to season 1, I'm not sure it was. I'm sure season wasn't quite so pervy as certain scenes in this.
Yes,
But
I thought it was a wee bit pervy myself. But I quite agree with that because I was expecting them to drop the ball. Truthfully, I was expecting them to change the star. So I was.
You can't take Alan Tudyk away from stuff like that.
No, but I'm saying
People
I
will
was
drop.
expecting them to do that for season 2.
Concentrate on the girl.
Crashland, and then he's got somebody else's DNA. So.
Oh, I see what you mean.
No. Everybody would say this is some bullshit.
Yes, of course they would have, but they've been saying that about everything, and it still doesn't stop them from making season
Apparently
3, season
Discovery's
4,
still got
season
season
5
5,
of
apparently.
certain things.
Yeah.
Basically, Batwoman's on what, season 3 or 4, or season 3. Discovery's on season 4. Picard's got season 2. Yeah,
Although
how many times have people saying it's all bullshit?
I did see somewhere, I think Doomcop, I haven't had a chance to watch it one, dropped one saying about Picard killed the Star Trek universe,
Mhm.
and another one some about Picard being cancelled or finishing. So it looks like that might have only got
a
2
season
seasons,
2
but
greenlit.
yeah, but I mean, I suspect it may be. I saw, unfortunately, it was only early on this evening when I was before I just came into here, so it was. I just haven't had a chance to check them out yet, but I think maybe it's finishing after season 2.
Yeah.
But this is a little bit comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
If you look
No. It's
at
comparing
the
apples to piles of
Discovery,
shite.
no. If you look at Discovery, and I know you've been so sadistic to yourself, you've actually had a sneak peek, and it's like, God, no. You looked at Picard, and it's like, what the hell is going on? But what this one really has, that is something Hollywood used to be so amazing at back in the 90s, 80s, even earlier. Good storytelling. You have a reason to care for anyone and everyone here in Resident Alien. Everything from Max's best friend and the husband and wife. Okay, I think they're getting a bit creepy. Gonna have to admit that, but I can also understand what they're playing at. But you have Harry, you have the main ladies around him, Asta, Darcy. What's the third lady?
Yeah, I couldn't remember the third one when she turned up either. The one that's
they all have something that is likable about them. Just connectivity to the audience. It's like, hey, okay, she's a bit of a screw up, or that's an absolute clumsy, unlucky bastard. Even Asta's ex-boyfriend, Jimmy. Bad name. I don't like the insinuation that Jimmys are bad. But even so, yes, he is shouty, he's appearing abusive and all of that, but there seems to be something more than just that behind it. He's not just, oh, he's a bad guy, throw him to the side and bring him in whenever we need someone to just scream at someone.
Yeah. See, I thought they were going to change some things in this season based on rewatching the season. Although it wasn't, it's not as if it was done 5-6 years ago. Like, for instance, the 2 girls who were at school together. One was the school bike. She makes reference to it. The 2 of them laugh and joke about it. The 2 of them are really good friends, and they worry about each other, but the 2 of them slag each other about the things they did at school.
Yep.
And who they did at school. Then you had the way the sheriff dealt with the deputy.
Oh God, yeah.
Being a man, talking down to her and ignoring her and treating the dog better. And the wee girl, what was her name? Max's friend,
Sahad.
I disliked her initially at the beginning because to me it was instead of all the men being dumb and the women being smart, they did it with the kids. So it's the wee boy who's dumb and it's the girl who's smart.
But he's not necessarily dumb.
No, but that's
she just happens to be.
No, but initially he was the dumb one, and she was smart because he would say things like, "What? Oh, I'll take that as a no." Then it's almost like you're dumb. All the tick boxes checked, and even the episode in episode 2 when she's the one that explaining things. But when you look at it, for the kids, they needed someone who asked the questions and someone who knew some of the answers. I think they made her too intelligent, almost like a high school valedictorian level intelligence when she's a kid.
She's definitely gonna go get that route because she is clearly clever. But she's never clever at the cost of Max.
But she is. That's the problem. I thought she was. because she was the one telling him how things work. She was the one telling him the things that he needed to do, and he was, huh? And so it made him. But that's what I'm saying. They changed it from the males and females to the boy and girl. It wasn't a major issue because they did need a sort of dynamic, but I think they made it too much. It was almost like even when she turns around and says, "I forget. I treat adults and talk to them in my same level. I forget I'm so advanced for my age," and it's almost like I need to
I'm
do it.
actually gonna go in and defend
Yeah.
the actress or
I'm
actor
not saying
or
the actress.
whatever you
I'm
want to
saying
be
the way
called,
it's
because
written,
this
the
young girl,
character. It's not a wee
the
girl. It's the character.
yes, it's a character, but the actress behind it, she managed to deliver it with such just like deadpan humor and delivery. And again, I stand by my ground that she's not being allowed to be clever, more clever than Max, at the cost of him being dumber. It is where he needs help. Because if we go all the way back to the first episode of the first season, he's the only one that can see an alien.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the scene where they put out famous photographs. You have Sam Neill and Bruce Willis or whatever it is, and then you have Alan Tudyk as the Doctor. But obviously, the kid has never seen his physical appearance as a human, so he would have no clue who it really is.
Yes,
He has to
but
be.
the problem is he's seen the TV, and you're trying to say he wouldn't know TV actors, even by seeing them. So by process of an elimination, he has to know.
I'm sorry to say, as much as we, the three of us, with shall we say, well, you can choose either a little bit of gray hair or experience. All of us have seen Jurassic Park. I do not expect a child, because he's supposed to be 11 in 2021, so he had to be born in 2010. I do not think people born in 2010 have seen Jurassic Park,
But it's no
regardless
as
of
if they're just
dinosaur
known
society.
for Jurassic Park or Die Hard. They are actors who are quite well known for a number of other things. They've been in the
Yeah,
TV
not
and
to
stuff
an
like that.
11-year-old.
But it doesn't matter. But I'm saying is, there's no way on earth they've never come across all those actors. If they'd use less famous actors, yes, I could get away with it. I could see it. But they're using very well-known actors, and it's not just adults that know these actors. These are actors that you might know their names, but you've seen them on TV. There's a lot of
Um,
actors I have no idea. Singers, I don't know anything about music, but I might recognise a person's face because he's in the thing. I know nothing about music, never heard anything, but he's been on news, he's been on this. That's the thing. It just seemed just too. I just think
yeah,
they made her too intelligent. It's almost like she was Sheldon level intelligence, the way they were
no,
acting back
she's
then.
nowhere near as
No, but
annoying as
that's the way
Sheldon.
she was
I
acting.
was,
She
I was,
was.
thi- I was thinking Wesleyna Crusher, but
Yes, but that title's like considering the age she was and
rather
the
than
things she was
Sheldon.
saying.
But yeah,
I'll give you an example on the last season, right? The two of them are going, but he's here to help us. And the agent turns around and mentions one word. It's a word that I've heard a lot of these ancient aliens and all this type of thing. But he mentions one word that I can't even remember. And she says, "What
Anasazi,
he's here
I
to kill
guess.
us." So that one word, she could put it all together suddenly. And
Mm.
I think I've actually know quite a lot about the ancient alien stuff because I've been watching it for years and years and years. Yet there's a wee 10-year-old, one word, she could put it all together and say, "Yep, he's here to kill us." And I'm sitting there thinking, really?
Yeah,
It was, to me, it was too much. It was a case of, it's almost like her intelligence was too much. Even the way she was talking to adults, I forget you, um, you're not in my level. It's just, it was too much for me.
We,
uh,
we, we,
Second
we, we,
season
we're going to
was a
have
lot better.
to disagree on the agreement point here,
Yeah.
not agree to disagree. I like the Sahar
Oh no,
character
the
just
second
because
season she
the
was a lot
actress, the
better
girl,
because it didn't
yeah.
seem as she didn't
yeah,
seem over the
but
top.
it is the girl that is acting the role.
Yes,
that
but it's
managed
not.
to deliver it
No,
better.
she could have been
She's
bad at acting that role, or she could have been excellent at acting the role. It's not the actors; it is the role. I'm saying
no, no,
they
but this
made her
is where
too
I'm with
smart.
you. I know, I agree that there is a little bit of annoyance within that tiny little package that she is, but it is because it's such a good actor behind it. She delivers it with charm when she's being demeaning. Oh, I forget that you're an adult because well, I'm working on it. And she does it with it's like the side glance, the facial expressions. It's those minor things. If she had just been like, I'm reading a script and saying this line and just
Yeah.
no reaction, then it would have been just completely gone.
No, but I think even if she was Shirley Temple level actress, it would have still came across. It was not her level of acting at all. Good,
I think
bad, indifferent. It was the character as it was written. It was written a particular way, and she could have acted it badly. She could have acted it perfectly. It's the character. You can have a character perfectly acted. If the character's a badly written character, doesn't matter how well you act it. So it's nothing to do with the actress who does it. It's the
Oh no no no
character.
no no
They
no no no!
made her. They
I
made the character.
disagree.
No, I'll give you an example. I like The Big Bang Theory. I dislike Sheldon, but I think Jim Parsons is perfectly cast for it. He plays it really well, and he's a really good actor. Still dislike the character, but that's nothing to do with the actor. So there's a really good actor playing a really good part, but I still dislike the character because all I can think is, who would be friends with him? I certainly
yeah.
wouldn't be. I would walk away. Same idea for this one. Doesn't matter how good
I
the
have a
actress is,
feeling you get more
it's the
Stockholm
character.
syndrome like Leonard when it comes to Sheldon.
No, I would
It would
just
be
walk
too
away.
late when you realize just how bad it is, and then
No, I
there's
would
like,
literally walk away. I would just literally just not go anywhere near it. I can't see why Raj or Howard would go up to that house.
well,
I
Rush
would
and
literally just
Howards
walk
are
away.
hooked because they're hooked to Leonard,
Yes,
not
but I still,
Sheldon.
it's the same idea. Like, I had a friend really annoying. Why would you come up to mines if I've got a friend that's really annoying that really annoys you all the time? You would just make sure that if you were coming over, he was near there and you didn't need to see him.
I
That's
think
the way I
the
would do it. But I suppose that's just, it's an exaggeration on TV. We were aware of that. But that's what I'm saying with the wee girl who played the parts of her. What's her name?
Gracelyn Award-Rinka.
Yeah.
Yes.
All I can say is I am genuinely surprised by the quality, the way she acts, the way she behaves, despite, as you said, all the flaws, the things you disliked about the way the character is written. I think this young girl will go on to make other big films. Think of her as a Chloe Grace Moritz,
I don't know who
coming
that is.
out from Kick-Ass and then doing other films and everything. And turns out she is genuinely good at acting.
Let's put it this way: she's no Matilda or whatever the wee girl's name who
No,
played
no.
Matilda, and she was in Miracle at 34th
She
Street.
dropped out of Hollywood.
Yes,
After.
exactly. But she was a very, very good actress. She's
I
an okay actress, but I think the character, it doesn't matter how well the character is written. If the character is written badly, an actor can only take it so far. And I think that's where the problem was. They made it just too over the top. They basically, I think they relied on, she's a girl, she's smart, she's religious beliefs that she's Muslim. As if they made, she didn't need to have.
I wouldn't say
She
that
could have
she's
just
smart.
been a
I
wee
would
girl
say she's
with Max as a
studious.
wee boy. The two of them didn't know things, and they were because they're kids. Because you wouldn't expect kids, but the fact that she seemed to know a hell of a lot about.
But this is what I'm saying. She's studious. She's more than just like, oh, she's automatically clever.
If
She's
if
more
it
like
was a 14, 15-year-old, I would accept that, but not for someone who's a kid at that age. It was almost, as I said, they were almost treating her as if she was a Sheldon level intelligence.
I think she's in some ways. I think you said that. I wonder if they're pushing a sort of semi-stereotypical Asians, and they've got their Asians mixed up. Asians studios pushing their kids, but when I think I was sort of half joking when I called her Wesleyan Crusher, but I think there's also something there for both of them that Will Wheaton pointed out, as said about Wesley, that the authors, the writers, find it very difficult to write kids.
Yes.
I mean, admittedly, he was
concept.
15, 16, his character, but similar sort of thing, that they don't quite know how to write kids.
I think that's exactly it. They wanted someone with the knowledge, and they didn't have someone in that position. So what did they do? They dumped it all on the Sahar character.
Yeah,
And to me, it was too much. If they had, as I said, if they were slightly older, maybe high school 14, 15, you could understand that, because there's a few years that if something you get interested in school and stuff like that, you get more knowledge about it, so you hoover it up. Kids are still coming into their own, they're still actually learning things, and there's nobody at that age is so far into conspiracy theories that you can mention one word and suddenly they can solve all the things that you're trying to say to
yeah,
them. And
yeah.
that's the problem I'm saying.
Yeah.
The writers have put too much on that character. This episode, I didn't think it was as bad. I thought it was more played down, because yes, they were sitting there and guarding the spaceship, and they were trying to find ways to get away, to get him away, and she was actually being the wee smart aleck. But that wasn't just she was intelligence. That was just being a wee smart aleck. The boys are just turning around saying to the wee boy, "Hey, on you go," and she's the one that's actually being a smart aleck. Oh, you're going to effectively. She's turning around and going, it's the sewer pipe. You're going to get breathe in all that poo, and you're going to get. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like saying, and you're going to get pootitis and did it. It's all that. She just actually made that sound a bit more intelligent, but in effect, she's effectively made a poo joke. And but they're not going to actually sit and argue with a wee girl, because they're just not going to argue with a wee girl, and especially if it sounds as if, well, it's crap. I'm not going to actually put myself in saying no in case it is crap. So it's easier just to go teenagers and walk away. Whereas if it was a wee boy, it'd be a case of. So they need. That's what I'm saying. It didn't seem too much. It was almost like she was making a poo joke, but she was just trying to put a spin on it.
Maybe they're putting it
Then
back in a
he
little
comes
bit.
around and he says, "Is that true?" He knows they're guarding the spaceship, but Max says, "Is that true?" As if he believed suddenly what she said. So they made him dumb still, but they didn't make her overly smart. They just made her be a wee bit smart aleck type. She made a toilet joke. She just made it sound a wee bit smarter. But then again, they turned around and had Max turning around and saying, "Is that true?" He knew why
This
she
is
was saying
something
that
I'm
to them,
waiting for.
but he believes it. Me.
This is something I'm waiting for. That they will pull in one of these, because all the other characters, but most of the other characters have had a little bit of challenge, adversity, and everything. And if you think about it, we've only really seen Max and Sahar. We've not really seen the other kids in school or anything. And I have a feeling if they play this well and they execute it well, there's a difference between playing and execution. You make a plan, and no plan survives first contact with life. But likely, because she is this clever little lady, they're going to do something. She's shunned at school or something. This is why she's best friends with Max, because he's okay with the way she is. Again, as I said,
They've
I
already did
think
that
there
at
is
the
still
beginning
there.
with Max being laughed at because he had that, and she was the one that approached him. He didn't recognise her, so as she knew at the school, and she turned round to him to convince him, "I believe you." So it's not as if she was shunned. He was
No,
shunned, and she went and sat with him. So it's not a case of these two shunned people drifted together because nobody else wanted to sit with them. So they sat at the table where all the was it freaks and geeks would sit. All the outcasts from the rest of the thing would all sit there. But no, she was the one that approached him, which is implying he's the outcast already because people are laughing at him, and she approached him. So it's no two outcasts getting dragged together. So that's what I'm saying. They can't do
Really?
that because they've already put that in motion. That he was the outcast and
Would
she
you
approached him.
really tell me that I know your kids are old enough that school is not a matter anymore really for them, but if one of your kids was sent to school with Nicholas Sturgeon's kid, are you telling me that they wouldn't stay as far away as possible?
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just for the simple fact is I have no love for that person. Nothing to do with our kids.
But I'm
So if my kid
example
turns around and says, I'm friends with this wee boy or girl,
Yeah.
the parents have nothing to do with the adult. That's what I'm saying.
No, but for kids, I think, especially at that age, it would matter. It would matter a lot.
Yes, but you look at American TV schools. There's all the jokes. There's all they're all the and they're thingy. Then you've got the outcast table, and it's all the dweebs and stuff like that. That's the way they've always portrayed it. So even if they're slightly changing it, they're still portraying it as a similar idea of the school. He's the outcast. They're all laughing at him because he's got his tinfoil hat and his mum's a teacher there, and they're all laughing and joking. He wasn't an outcast that just was sitting at the other end of the table and they just drifted and started talking. She approached him, and he was a case of, you want to sit next to me? They're all laughing, and she sat down. So she's not an outcast. She deliberately made that choice because she
Well,
believed
I
in it and
might
wanted
have
more
missed
information.
something, but I think there is more background to Sahar and even Max that is missing.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's any. I think the writers have just put it, but they've set it up with the fact is he came in, he dropped his bag and his tinfoil hat fell out, and everybody laughed at him. And he's sitting there. She approached him, and he says, "Oh, you want to sit next to me? You'll get laughed at by everybody else." And she sat down and says, "But I believe you." And that's when they started talking. So she wasn't an outcast. She basically approached him, even though he says, if you sit next to me, you'll get laughed at. She says, "Don't care. I believe you." So they've
Yeah,
already said that. And
I'm reserving my judgment on more of the story behind Sahar.
I just think her character,
Yeah.
the way they've written her character, they wanted somebody who knew a lot about stuff like that, but they've got no concept that somebody of that age, how would they know that level of detail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They put that into an almost a young adult who they've had it like maybe 15, 16-year-old who gets hooked in something and digs right into it to like a 10-year-old, 10, 11-year-old. It's just too young, I think, unless they're a savant. And that's what I'm saying. The Sheldon Cooper level. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I think the character, they needed something to happen. So they needed somebody to have all this information for Max to have this information. And she was the one that got it. So they made her character too much.
You're kind of making me jaded because something I fell in love with this TV show is just the fact that they poke fun in 360 degrees, left, right, center, upside, downside,
I love
everywhere.
that, but I love the fact is
The writers may have more merit and more nice stuff to sprinkle out. I think we
it's
will
just a
get more.
case of they don't know how to write kids.
Mm.
And I think that's what it is. They didn't want to actually put too much. They couldn't think of a way for Max to get that information except another kid.
Again,
And they
I'll defend that with the concept. If you bring kids in to something like this, look back at any of our favorite films for the past 50 years. If you bring kids in and clue them in on the plotline, the storyline, they have to have informations that the grown-ups do not have.
Mhm.
Because that's the only way to
Yes.
leverage that difference. So they
Mhm.
have to be smarter
But
than
remember, she was on a par with one other person because David, the agent, the colour guy, he had all the information, and he had to tell the general, Linda Hamilton, and his co-worker Judy the information, and he had to explain it out to them because it wasn't an easy understanding about the what was the Aztecs and the flying things and how they got wiped out and and he explained all that. However, he's been through all that and he's did the research and he's explained it to them. He had to make it into simple language, so he explained it to them. Yeah, he just said one word to her and she understood a lot. You see what I mean? So he's done all this research. These two, one general and one psychopathic agent, still an agent. So they're not
Interestingly female.
unintelligent women. And he had to dumb it down so they could understand it. But he could say one word to a girl and she suddenly knew everything he's talking about.
And you see I'm just that is 100% forgiven in my book. That is 100% forgiven in my book because it's a quick delivery. But
It's
again,
a quick delivery, but I think there is something by making her too intelligent for it.
There's something that humans do and suffer from. Suffer from sounds bad, but it's called cognitive bias.
Mm-hmm.
You read something somewhere and it's stuck in your mind, and suddenly all the headlines you see, all the TV shows you see, everything, that word, it just pops out to you. You just get it's like big flashy neon sign in front of your mind. It doesn't mean anything. It's just you picked something up somewhere else, and suddenly it just flashes out to you.
You suddenly see.
I haven't noticed it ever before.
Do you know? Suddenly see a wolf everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I would have done to solve this?
What?
His big sister. Give him a big sister. He finds all that stuff out, and his sister, and he talks to his sister about it, and she believes him. Sister could be 15, 16. You see what I mean? So it doesn't need to be a girl at school. It doesn't need to be another boy or whatever, or an adult. It could be just his sister. Maybe she was about 14, 15. And she had pictures of UFOs, and he was always, but suddenly he had that, and she would actually say, "Are you taking the mickey at me?" Did it. And then suddenly there's an older teenager being able to pass all that information off, and you could understand it a bit better. But it's having two young kids at that age, yet she seems to be almost more intelligent than most of the adults around her. That's what I'm saying. It's just
but she forgets that she has to be lower down. She shouldn't talk to the adults.
No, but that's just the point.
No. I see that.
No, that whole concept is you're accepting she's more intelligent and she has to talk down to adults.
I see that. If you look at all the rest of the scripts, the rest of the thing, they're poking fun at everything and everyone. And that is the way I see that line delivered. Not that she is, just like she's a Lisa Simpson in The Simpsons. Lisa Simpson is definitely smarter than Homer Simpson. I don't think there's anyone on this planet can disagree with that.
I would agree with that, but there is not a case of that even Lisa is smarter than all the adults around her.
Oh, I don't know.
She might be very intelligent, but there's other adults around her that it's not a case of she talks down to them all. One or two of them, yes. The Barneys, the Moes, the Homers, yes. But she doesn't still talk down to her teacher. She doesn't talk down to these. You see what I mean? It's a case of this one. No matter how much I really enjoy this, that's the one thing that annoys me is they made her too intelligent, almost to the point where she has to dumb it down for all the adults around her. Even agents who have researched the subject, she's had to dumb it down. That's what I'm saying. They've made her too intelligent, considering her age.
I can definitely tell how passionate you are about that particular character's, shall we say, development line. We talked about her literally for 30 minutes now.
Yep. That's how much it annoyed me. It's just the fact is that it's just a wee bit OTT.
They've given her.
I think they would never get. Every time I watch it, I think, how'd they get away with that? Like, for instance, the sheriff,
The sheriff.
call me Big Black, and the mayor,
Oh,
sorry, I can't do that. Listen, Mayor Snowflake. And it's
No.
the fact
Mayor
that-
Snowflake is the one I would have thought they've gone, okay, Big Black.
No,
Not
but
the
that's what
new
I'm saying. No,
doctor they
it's
bring
the
in.
fact that he's calling him Snowflake. It's a case of, oh, I'd be uncomfortable saying that, and so he calls him Snowflake.
Yeah.
Thingy. And like when you've got Harry, and he says they call me Big Black. He says, "Is it because of your car?" He doesn't think it's because of he's a black sheriff. He doesn't see it. He just accepts it, and he says, "Is it because of your car? Because you got a big black car?" So to me, that is a better way of doing it, because there's the alien. Doesn't see the joke, because he doesn't see, oh, you're black, so well, you want to be called Big
Yeah.
Black because of the colour of your skin. He's just looking for a reason for it, and it must be car.
The aliens
Because
actually bringing the point of
they're all the same.
yeah, the aliens
Exactly.
point saying, okay, I don't see what the difference is. What's the point? You know.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. And that's, to me, the way to do it.
Yeah.
So when he's saying Big Black and Mayor Snowflake's going, oh, I don't feel uncomfortable, and it's him calling him Snowflake, and it's him saying, just call me this.
Yeah.
And he's still saying, even if it's like me turning around and saying, just call me Baldy, and somebody saying, oh, I don't feel comfortable calling you Baldy. Well, if I've already said to that, why would you feel uncomfortable of me telling you to call me after, or call me Specky, call me whatever? If I've said that's my nickname, or that's what I want to be called, and you turn around and say, oh, I don't feel comfortable. So if I decide to say, well, you need to call me Janet, and they go, oh, well, I'm not comfortable. You see what I mean? It's that route. So just because he wants to be called that name, and Mayor Snowflake said, oh, I don't feel comfortable doing that, where does that line get drawn? So if he says, just call me Janet, would the mayor say, oh, I don't feel comfortable saying that?
Oh, he do that. If you're comfortable saying that,
He would do that, but that's what I'm saying. But it's that point.
yeah,
So
that's the point of the mail, I think.
yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Mm.
So although I think the sheriff and his wife, they went too pervy. The whole
No, the
sequence with
mayor
that,
and his wife.
yeah, the sequence with that was just too much.
It would have been, I think it would have been possibly not quite, it would have been equally over the top, but it would have been funny if they hadn't included the kid in these bits.
And when
See,
he was sitting there in front of them,
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious as what's happened is the reaction is there was this big thing last night, I suppose, isn't it? Because in story time with this, and as a result of which she now sees her husband in a very different light, which she finds exciting and he finds it great, excellent bit. And okay, so yeah, yeah, you're definitely sort of going a little bit tongue in cheek with the yeehaws and the horse tails and the rest of it.
Yes,
But
basically the sex scenes, as it were. But yes, as I said, when they're actually standing there talking to each other, getting turned on, and suddenly groping each other, and the wee boy sitting there with the sheriff sitting there and the deputy sitting there. It's as the deputy says is, I'll get you some water. It's basically there's the woman sitting there getting uncomfortable, but the wee boy sitting there, and whoever's wrote that scene thought that's fine. Really? Who would actually? What adults would actually think getting turned on and actually showing it in front of a 9, 10-year, a 10, 11-year-old, whatever? To me, that is just a case of
that's
just too much.
Yeah, that's a little bit worrying. I mean,
And the thing is, you didn't need to show you how we're having sex with the saddles and the yeehaw and the cowboy boots. You didn't need that, because the fact is you could see the way they were looking at each other when they were doing the interview, talk about her lips and her nose and and the wife's getting turned on when he's talking about her nose and how she looks when I gave her one from behind and stuff like that. It was silly. That was silly, but then they went on to show some of the scenes, and you're sitting there thinking that part was needed. That's somebody who can understand telling a story is all you need. You don't need to physically show what you've just seen or just heard.
Some of those things make you sort of do make
Yes.
you wonder a little bit about what sort of limits the writers have actually got, or
Yes,
what
and
sort
that's
of
the
what sort of
thing.
limits the writers think are appropriate.
Yes, that's the thing as well. I was saying is the way they treated language in this, right? So it is family entertainment to a point, because the sex scenes took it out of family entertainment for me, made it into more adult entertainment. But even the way they used the swear words. So Harry says dick, calls him a dick or a shitbag, and he calls him an arsehole. And the wee boy saying, "That's adult language. I shouldn't be hearing that. You're terrible for saying that." But they're treating it like, so when Max walks away, Harry's going arsehole, making sure, because it's almost like a wee boy saying bad words. So they've already put the thing as, we'll use bad words. I know you're going over the top with the bad words they're using, considering, but for family entertainment, they're
But
using
they
are a
they
bit
have a
on that line,
reason.
Hmm.
but they're making it, it's tongue in cheek. Even the alien adult saying it, he's just like a kid saying it, because he'll say the words, but he'll look down, or he'll say it quieter a wee bit. He'll go, dick, arsehole, just to make sure. And it's almost a case of they're saying these words are adult words, kids shouldn't say them,
Hmm.
but they understand that some kids say them, and that's the way kids do it. So if
And
you're actually out and you see two kids arguing, one of them will shout, "Arsehole," and they'll go like that as if to say, "I hope nobody saw me." And it's that type of thing. So you saw it with the adults. So they had a limit, saying there is some adult language here. It's not too bad. It's right in the cusp, but we're saying kids shouldn't use it, and adults shouldn't use it in front of kids. So the way they
yeah,
did it is put the dynamics, and then they put the sex scenes in it. Fair enough, it was
Yeah,
not full blown sex scenes, but
yeah.
they were still
the,
creepy to the point
these
where
sex
they took
scenes
it out.
could completely have been played in a very different manner.
Yes, they didn't
You
even need
you
to show
you could
them.
have you could have shown Mayor and Mrs. getting turned on after them fighting off the kidnappers, but
Like
you
they
could have
did.
shown them snogging, hugging, getting like, "Hey, darling, I'm getting cozy here," and then cut.
Yeah, but they didn't
Just so
even
you
need to do
get
that.
that, yes, they're getting randy. They're gonna go off to a cupboard or wherever. You leave that to your imagination. There is no need to show
Yeah,
it.
but Jim, without adding any bits in, like seeing them cuddling, whatever, just cut all those scenes out where they showed the bedroom, and it's still the exact same. The difference is they've taken those ones out. They've not added anything in just to show them cuddling or whatever, to give a suggestion, because you see how they act when they're talking to each other in front of the sheriff, their son, and all that. They're sort of, oh, almost all over each other.
Yep.
That's creepy enough, because the wee boy's standing there, but suddenly they went into this, and it takes it from almost a family show to a more adult show,
Yeah.
and I think that's where it went wrong.
There's,
Those bits, if you just cut them straight out, bin them,
I think
it still shows the part of the story and how it affects them essentially, without having to go in too creepy and see. Where if you're sitting watching that with your kids and you're having a good laugh, and then you're suddenly going, "Oh, it's a wee bit creepy," and then you're turning around going like that to the kids, "Don't look, don't look."
mm,
That's where it goes wrong. And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's the part that they needed to cut out of that first scene, the
I,
first episode.
I think it's a perfectly valid bit of storytelling. If they start kissing that, and they start getting a little bit kissy and romantic, and the kid shows the typical 10-year-old's disgust with that sort of thing, and leave
Yes,
it there.
and then even the sheriff turns around and says, "You have got a room up there." You know what I mean? It's almost
Yeah,
a case of, really, you're doing that in front of all of us. You've got a room
yeah,
up there, and that's the sheriff. They're sort of saying it so that they're
No,
doing it in
but
front of the sheriff. Their son, the son's
right
got
there.
the mum and dad kissing vibe,
But they could have
and
cut it right there.
yes,
Let it go up to the scene where the sheriff goes, "Do you know you have a room up there?" Because at that moment, it's still them just getting amorous with each other.
yes,
There's
that's what I'm
nothing over
saying.
the top. That's where it should have been cut. So,
Yes,
and then
because it
bring it
became
back.
creepy, and then the fact that they showed that, to me, why did they show that?
yeah.
To me, that's them changing the audience expectations. So if you've built it up as a family show, and then suddenly the first season of season 2, you've got that part where you're saying, well, my kids ain't watching this because I don't trust how far you're going to go with that.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
I'm-
definitely
yeah.
did not need to know that the mayor's wife was wearing a furry butt plug.
No.
Or he was using a saddle on her.
Yeah, I
Do you
did
know what I
not
mean?
need
It's
to
things
know
like
that.
that. It's a case of, and that's the point I want to actually. I would say, well, if my kids were young and were like 10, 11, 12, watching it, having a good laugh at it, even the sweary bits, and I turn around and saying, see, adults might swear, but kids don't because look,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Then it goes over the line. I would turn
Yeah.
around to my kids and say, you ain't watching it because I don't trust it anymore.
Yeah.
And
They
it's that
take-
type of thing. So they're trying to change the dynamics. And I think that's where they went wrong with this one.
Yeah,
Although, as
and
an
it
adult,
is
I
the
thought it was
current
fun.
state I'm in. I'm not
Mm.
sure if this is meant as family entertainment anymore or
Yeah.
adult
Exactly.
teenager.
It's basically young adult. Even
Mm.
going into the adult, I
Yeah.
would even say young adult would probably.
Mm.
I would have said it was teen to young adult initially, and I think it's gone from adult to a young
Yeah.
adult to adult.
The problem is that because you've got two of the main characters. I mean, one of the main characters and his sidekick are
Yep.
kids. It's going to be seen as a kids show.
Yep. Exactly.
Whereas back in our day, kids shows were actually could actually be made, and you could actually make series shows, and kids could still watch them without talking down to the kids.
Yep.
Can you imagine Jerry Anderson doing this?
No.
You know, I mean, or even the Tomorrow People. You know, kid shows where you could do that. They seem to have lost the idea of how to write kids, but in some ways how to write for kids as well. They seem, you know, either Disneyfy everything or the kids have to be the heroes.
Adult.
Yeah.
The kids have to be adult
They
enough to actually understand things.
they perhaps are overcompensating. They don't want to talk down to the kids, so they're overcompensating in the way they write child characters.
But
Here's
I
another
agree with
thing
the
as
whole
well.
concept. Writing children is complex enough. And if you take two of my favorite films where there are kids involved, it is Leon the Professional, Natalie Portman. Now, that is borderline creepy, but it's very, very much tempered by Jean Reno playing Leon.
Uh-huh.
She is this abused kid, everything. This is the first time someone has showed any kind of tenderness to her. And it's clear she's mistaking this for some kind of like young puppy romance love thing.
Mm.
But another one where you have kids acting as adults is Raised to Witch Mountain from 1960s. With these two kids that are aliens, and they're definitely smarter than the average adult human being. See, even your dogs agrees with me.
Yeah. Basically, they heard that rubbish and no, somebody's walked past the house somewhere along the line.
But that is exceptionally well written. And I wouldn't say kids because they're definitely a little bit older than they should be, but it's exceptionally well written, young people coming into adulthood. But nowhere near, well, aside from Leon, is that whole bedroom intimacy coming in, really. It's just that they're clever, they're bright, they have knowledge, all of that. But this one is just, I feel like they're dropping too many things with the way they acted, with the way they were trying to continue on with the mayor and the missus. Yes, on the night of the defeating the attack, maybe the next night they might have been very amorous, very passionate because of adrenaline levels and all that.
Yeah.
But then it shouldn't normally trickle back down because at that very night where this happened, he's walking up the stair to his own house and going, "Hey, honey, what's with it? Oh, divorce. okay. Because he's feeling at that far level removed from the relationship. And you kind of see it through. He definitely doesn't seem to be the man that his lady wants. So I think it was cleverly played, but they should have dropped it very quickly. They fought him off. They realized, hey, we're here for our family. We will protect our kids. And then move on. Make a new story. Make something else happen. But this feels like they're just stretching it out.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that we've survived, and we can thoroughly understand the we've survived at a way below conscious animal level to mate and so on, having both just survived and all the rest of it, and indeed how that may see each other differently, change their relationship. But it's not something you need. This isn't a bloody soap opera. It's not something we need to see. We need to see talking octopuses.
Yes. I love that scene at the end of it when he gets woken up by the octopi, whatever it's the accurate terminology would be. But the way he's running away with it, it's placed around so you see the head, the eyes front forward, and he's just running. It's that I think that was perfect comedy.
And he starts talking to us. Wait a minute, are you talking to me? God, they always don't talk to you. Do you wonder why? It's
what was black bean sauce number 46 on the menu?
Number 4 on the menu. He was number 4. But did you see the same again? The writers obviously like Law and Order because they went back to the Law and Order. Because remember, he learned his language.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, they went back to Law and Order by him. The scene where he was learning projects. So the part where he kept learning, he kept rewinding and playing. That's not true, Kochek, or whatever her name was. And then he starts calling.
But I hate my cynicism here. And it is the whole Asta and Harry relationship. And we're starting off this season by him calling her a hooker. Okay, yes, head injury, amnesia, whatever. But are they not going to end up? Based on every TV show, every film you've seen before, are they not going to end up?
No.
She knows what it looks like, doesn't she? If I remember right.
But I think it's the simple fact is they can get away with not doing it because of the alien. I know it's almost like the Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has seen Mork and Mindy that has written this, to be honest.
Yes, but I'm saying is I don't think they'll go down that route because they can get away with it with Alien. They've already had him doing it with a woman.
Yeah.
So that's already
but that was more forced because that was actually his wife, and she was more forcing herself on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but normally with these programs, it's usually a case of she teaches him how humans work and show me this thing you call human kissing. And I read the Wasp quote, remember?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it's that sort of thing. So she teaches him, and then that's where it goes from there. It's already happened, so I don't think they'll go down that route. I'm hoping they won't.
But I'm hoping you're right.
I'm hoping
but
they're
I'm
right,
pressing
but it's unlikely.
F to doubt because I think they will just go the cheesy route on this one. Oh yeah, here we go.
Right,
go ahead and play.
Right, here it goes. Listen.
Max, you have to trust me. He is going to kill everyone. Tell us who he is.
He's not going to kill everyone.
His ship is a Kimbaja amulet.
Max, he's going to kill...
See, you see? His ship is a Kabaja amulet, and then suddenly...
Whatever the hell that means.
Exactly. Yeah, suddenly she goes, oh, I know exactly what that means, so he's going to kill everyone. For the age
But you see, this is where I'm at polar opposite with you, PJ. she has spent the 2 episodes before that reading alien books, Communion with an Alien or Communication with an Alien or something, which is where they convince Harry that, okay, we need to call a truce. That
Fair
may
point.
be where she picked up the knowledge of it.
Yes, but she's picked up knowledge which is highly.
Okay, yes,
You've
I
got a lot of
agree.
conspiracy
He's
theorists
military
who read a
professional.
lot. You
He-
got a lot of ufologists wouldn't know that, and they've been reading for years and years
I
all the
Uh,
stuff. Yet suddenly she knows the one thing.
I see what you're getting, PJ. I would say actually, I would say I would say something different. I would say, yeah, as Jim said, she's been doing the research, but by sheer coincidence, he
Yeah.
happens to say that one thing that triggers what she's been reading. Not that she's got this massive amount of knowledge
Yes, but
that
the
she can
problem
put
is
together, but
the
it's not,
problem is the way they've built it up.
yeah,
That
but
you
it's
can't actually say that she's been researching for the last 2 things. All you know is she keeps on coming out with the facts. Not once has she said, I've researched it and I've been reading a lot on it. She effectively just comes out with the facts. So you can't assume.
yeah, I must admit, I
That's the
didn't.
problem. You can't assume with a program that the program, it's what's on the screen. You have to take it face value. And at no point has she said, I've been researching this and I've been looking into it. She just comes out with the facts.
Oh, right. No, so I
So
must admit,
where
when
where did she get it?
I hadn't rewatched the series to remember to catch up on all those things. Like,
Yeah, but that's the point. It was just that
Yeah.
was the point I was talking about. How
Yeah.
he comes out with something which is quite obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just goes, "Oh, yes, definitely." So she went. It changes her mind like that.
I mean, as I said, I could if she has been doing some studying, if she did some reading, then I can understand it. Then it becomes a case of, oh, okay, that's clumsy storytelling, and that he
Yes.
happens to say the one thing that makes sense to her.
Yep.
You know, it's the standard Scooby Doo, the one clue at the end that suddenly goes, oh,
yeah,
I get it.
exactly.
Oh, I see. It all fits together now.
Yes, but there's also as I said, it's a case of if somebody could write kids better, then there would have been a way for a slightly older kid who you can
Yeah,
believe
maybe.
who's been delving into it. They might have UFO pictures in their walls, and they're basically, you see bits and pieces, books slipped from Van Daniken or that type of thing. Because they've already brought in a couple of the ancient alien guys in a couple of episodes before.
I'm not
So you
saying
could
it's
have somebody
aliens,
that's got a couple of books and has read it because they're interested in the last couple of years. You see the books, but no, it's
Yeah.
just nothing. And even when she gets picked up by her mum, thank you for saving my life, and her mum goes, thank you. It's not a case of, I told you this type of thing would get you into trouble. So it's almost implied that where did she get the knowledge? Because it's not. They didn't say she's been reading. She didn't say she's been researching. You're just assuming that she has, because the
Right.
last 2 episodes she has dealt with it. Doesn't mean she's
No,
mentioned
I
researching.
think I found where it's not the gripe. It's a valid criticism that you do have, but you're talking, as I see it, about Deus ex machina, as in, okay, they buried themselves too deep in this hole. They need to get up and move on with the story. It's like they can't continue down here. They need to move it forward, and they did it in this very first episode of season 2, where Harry is accidentally back in the restaurant with the octopus. The octopus is like, oh, here's your memory back. Smack, boom. You no longer have amnesia. It's not a slow recovery or anything like that. They just go, boom, here's an octopi tentacle, bang. Your memory is back. They're doing that quite a lot throughout. And I think, now that I think back, Sahar is used quite frequently for these things. Make the story
That's what I
move
said.
on.
She basically has been given
it
too much intelligence because they've been wanting a way for Max to get this information. That's exactly what I said earlier on. Whereas like an older sister or an older brother who had UFOs all around his room and stuff like that, where he could go up and say, I didn't want to say, but you might know. And then say, and then there's the brother digging out all these books and things that he's read on Anakin, the ancient, that type of thing.
But this is the route I was going to go down, because if you remember where he was, Max, the kid, was stalling Harry the alien from going home from the come have a dinner with us, because Sahar is out stealing the
Getting the
keys, doing the
keys and
bidding
stuff,
and everything. And you get to see that Harry, so not Harry, Max, has knowledge of the solar system. Clearly, he's interested in space because they built like a solar system model and all of that. Clearly, he should know a little bit more about it than he does. But
No.
they're burying that
Space and
because
ufology are different. If they were talking about planets, yes, I could understand that, but they're talking about ufology. And it's like turning around and saying, you know computers, so you must know how to program in hexadecimal. That's a computer. Do you see what I mean? It's a case of, you know computers, so you must know this specific thing. No, you know what I mean? Or else, you know computers, so you must know how to actually binary code a printer, because that's a computer. But you see what I mean? That's why I use the binary. But it's the fact is, saying he knows space is not the same as saying he knows ufology, just because UFOs are in space. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, again, this is where you and I differ. I see this purely as entertainment show where Hugo is like, oh, they should have this knowledge. They should
No,
have this knowledge. It's
the
like,
thing is,
Yeah.
I think it's a
entertainment shows don't
harsher
Disney take you
application.
out. Yeah, but an entertainment show shouldn't actually have something that actually they drop something that makes you go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, because
I tell you, I think I would say it's an example of how good the show is generally. Because
Yeah.
if the show was mediocre crap, you wouldn't care.
notice these things. Like,
you
if
wouldn't
it was Wheel of
notice.
Time, you wouldn't notice
that you
how crap it was.
you wouldn't care because it's engaging, because it's generally good story, well written, and the rest of it. These things do make you think. No, well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
How did they know that?
Exactly.
Yes.
And the thing is, I love this program.
Yeah.
Apart from the one or two wee teeny bits that are gripey, and it's only
But it
because
is those
the
wee teeny
writers,
bits that
the
you gripe about
writers just don't
that
know how
shows
to
that
do
you
something.
care. You
Yeah,
want
but the
this.
fact is, to me, I'm not saying the actress is bad because of this, or the actor is bad because of that. I'm saying the writers failed on this because you've got someone so young, but they seem to have more knowledge than most of even the alien who's from another world who can fly through space, but she seems to have more knowledge about space and stuff. And you're sitting there thinking,
Whoa.
no, but
That's
that's
a
coming.
big
I'm using that as
iceberg
an
you're going
example.
at.
I'm using that as an example. It's almost a case of the way they're treated her is they needed someone to put the facts across, but she's the most intelligent, not only person in the room. She's the most intelligent person in the town. That's almost what it is. It's almost a case of she talks down to everybody because nobody matches her intelligence. For her age, it does not work.
Well,
That's what
I'll
we get.
I'll give you this as a thought, and I hope I can explain it as well as possible. When it comes to, and I'm not sure if you heard the term EQ, emotional quotient or everything, and you have IQ, intelligent quota or quotient or whatever it is. At the very bottom, we do have our dear beloved alien, because he has no clue. His knowledge about planet Earth is TV shows, especially Law and Order. Then above that, you have maybe the mayor and the sheriff. Above that, you have the deputy and you have the kids. Above that, you have Asta, her father, maybe even her abusive ex-boyfriend. Because, as I said in the beginning, he's there to be the abusive ex-partner from history, but has he ever been in the show over the top abusive?
Yes. Yes.
No, he's been pushy. He's
No.
been hostile.
You look at the very first time Harry, remember, he went back
Yeah,
and dragged
they're
her through
ripping
the
out the
wall.
wall and everything.
That was
yes.
after he'd belted her and she was lying because she was cut and she was lying, and then he went to grab her, and that's when he went through the wall. So yes, he has already been violent. You didn't see
Yes,
the
but
physical.
this
You
is
see
what
her
I'm
lying
saying.
there with a cut
We
lip.
do not see. Oh crap! I keep getting name. It's not Rosemary's Baby. What's that Stephen King? The lady that kidnaps the author. We don't see.
Play Misty for me.
No, I know the one you mean.
Is it not Misty?
No.
It's
the
James
one with
Caan,
James
where he
Caan.
gets his ankles broken.
Yeah.
Are you talk,
Yeah.
is that not Play Misty?
No,
for me?
it's not Play
broken.
Misty.
She's cut the tendons in the heels
sure
of
that-
the guy.
No, it's not.
But
Rosemary's
no,
Baby.
I'm talking that severeness. Yes, there's been punched. She's lying on the floor. She's bleeding. All of that stuff. Yes, we get he's a bad guy, but everything since and before, it's like, okay, we should stay away from you, but he's not that irredeemably bad guy, which is why I kind of think they had something planned there. And even the fact that I would argue that his argument is the most solid one when she's been the one stalking her child that she gave up, but brought back in and pretend to be her friend and everything, and not disclosing that she's mom. All that. I would say she's on par with being equally bad. I wouldn't say evil because evil is a different thing, but bad. I'm not sure if I'm making too much sense here, but this is why I'm trying to put them on the kind of a tier. But at the top level, you do have other characters in terms of cleverness. Oh crap! What are the names? I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I think you understand where I mean when I'm when I'm building up the levels. At the very bottom, in terms of not being smart, you obviously have the resident alien. Misery, that's the one.
I knew something began with M. I thought it was Play Misty or Misty, but it's Misery.
Oh, you got a lot of character correct in Misty. Misty.
But yeah, Misery. But
Yeah,
the
but
thing-
even so, this is what I mean. They could have gone really dark with his character arc. They could have gone very, very dark, as in she's at fear for her life. She clearly isn't. But obviously there is nothing good.
The problem is she clearly was, because she wouldn't leave him because she's telling the other girlfriend, remember?
Yeah,
all those things and all that, and
going
he
down
can't
that
leave
way,
him.
and it
But
would
the
have
only
been.
reason she left him and she got the courage to leave him was when she saw the shooting star or the spaceship. But up until that, even after she had the baby and all that, she still stayed with him because she was fearful of leaving him.
Yep.
But it was the point, you see the part where you don't physically see the punch, but you know it is because the argument, you see in the house, she's lying on the ground with a lip cut, and he's still angry and shouting at her, goes to grab her again.
But I have a question about that whole scene. Because yet again, our beloved resident alien, yes, he's seen Law and Order, so he would likely have seen a lot of boyfriend kills girlfriend, stuff like that, understanding it is wrong. But we don't really have the understanding why he's going back. And we still don't have that connection. Because as you said, you don't think Asta and Harry will end up together. But why did he care enough to go back and punch through a wall?
Well,
rip
he
the guy
basically,
through the
right
wall?
before that, as he was driving away and he was talking to himself why he should just keep driving. And then he actually basically tells you why he turns round. So it does, but when he's driving down and then he spins round, it's almost a case of he doesn't understand why he's turning round, because it's none of his business. He just keep driving. he's going to be killing all these naked apes anyway, but it's all to do with feeling as part of it, feeling helping a friends out, and that's why he turns around and he was annoyed. That's why he nearly strangled them, because he was annoyed that he felt his human nature was dragging him back. So
But you see, it was at that point
it tells you
I
as he's
was.
coming up.
It was at that point I was permanently hooked on this TV show because you see the humanity building up. Why should I help anybody else? I don't really know either of you. Why should I, if your car crashed on the highway, why should I stop and help you? I would likely do for a
You're asking
complete
the wrong
stranger. And no, even for you guys, I would likely stop, but I cannot tell you why would I take the decision to stop, go out and help you. And that is a very, as the show is showing you, a human thing. Someone is in trouble.
Yep.
Go and help them.
You need to go and take a history and moral philosophy class, Jim. Then you'd know the answer.
I would probably not like the answer why I would help someone in trouble.
I would probably fail the answers.
Sorry, I'm sure there was something very similar in one of the in Starship Troopers where they're talking about why we actually fight or something. And but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Operation Petticoat tells you exactly why. It's a movie that would never be made today. Near it is about the women on the submarine and nurseries and how all the men act and stuff like that. And when they're all coming aboard, and one of the guys turns to the rest and says, "If anybody asks you why you're fighting this war, now you can tell them." Because there's all these gorgeous nurses coming up, so all these beautiful women. And
You say that there is a very similar line in Starship Troopers. He says where they're on a no, it's what I think towards the end of the bit when they're doing the basic, which you don't see any of this in the film. In the book, when they're doing the basic, a lot of it is their basic training, and they end up on it's either when they're on in the basic training later with an officer, but it's one they're on leave from the training, and they're talking about this, and obviously, given that this was written in 1930s to 50s. American morality regarding dating, and this one he's something like that, and he's something about no, I know what it is. No, it's when he's explaining why the captain of the ship, when he's in the drop troopers, says good luck when they drop, and he gives some of the lines of bearing in mind that this is an all-male unit. And then the last thing you hear before you drop into battle is a female voice wishing you luck. And if you don't understand why that's important, you've probably given up. You've probably resigned your membership of the human race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a similar.
It is.
Very,
yes,
very
it is.
similar.
Heinlein was extremely clever.
Why did you think Second World War Tokyo rose? It was never Tokyo George. It was a female voice to entice, because the male of the species is more predominated to protect. So you hear somebody saying, "Come over to us," and then it's a female voice. That's where it comes. It's all to do with propaganda and the understanding of the psyche. But do you know the thing that I found hilarious after rewatching this season 1? When I first watched it, end of season 1, I thought I was really good. I quite enjoyed that. The end of season 1, I'm sitting there thinking, bummer. He managed to get it off the planet. I was so hoping that they would change the end, so he went, the whole planet's gone. It's just basically just goes to show what the difference a year and a half makes.
So sorry, I am 100% disagreeing with you, because the females, if we put it that brutally, the lots of them, despite all the interbickering and everything, and the fact that they're using actresses that are not like the 100 hottest women in Hollywood or whatever. I don't think they would really be on the list. They might be like mid-50s or something, because they're cute, they're gorgeous and everything. But the key thing is each and every one of them are relatable to. From the deputy sheriff to the bartender to Asta has to give up the kid. They're relatable. They're actually well-built characters. I don't want them gone. I actually want them to live on.
Yeah,
I've
but no,
rooted
I'm
far
just saying
more
it
for
just
them.
goes to show the difference a year and a half makes, where you're actually hoping the alien wipes out the whole of the human race.
I'm still rooting for that because whatever I see on Twitter, it's just like I log on. It's like, no, I'm going for a coffee.
Yeah, God,
No,
that
no,
bloody
I'm just
asteroid
going-
missed us again, didn't it?
Well, Uri Geller did say we're actually going to be we're in imminent danger of an alien invasion. Terrible when you're actually rooting for the aliens.
No, I think actually, if the aliens come onto it, one and say, "Oh God, I'm not going to bother with this." I think we're safer from alien invasion than ever been, because any race advanced enough to actually cross space is going to come take one look at the state of this planet and go,
And they're going
"Oh,
to
let
hit
these
Bosch.
let these idiots kill themselves off."
Any alien race sufficiently advanced to travel across the stars, coming to planet Earth, they're just going to go, nope, moving on.
Yep.
No, do you know what they're going to do? They're going to say Groucho Marx was right.
Say again.
They're going to say Groucho Marx was right. Any club that wants me as a member, I don't want to join. Or it's basically any club that accepts me as a member, I don't want to join. So they'll be coming over, looking down and going, if they want us to help, I don't want to be there. If they need us, no. They want to join, no thank you. No, I must admit, I would actually, if I was the head of the alien race, I would be sitting there going, flush, 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 flush. I would literally be going, oh no, you need to give the cockroaches a chance. The monkeys have had a chance and failed.
Yeah.
Next. The dinosaurs had a chance and failed.
I'll be
The
the
monkeys had a
commander
chance
going,
and failed.
like,
No.
you had dinosaurs, you had cockroaches, you had dolphins, you have blue whales, you have crocodiles, you have elephants, you have giraffes, and somehow
White mice.
these idiots are the one that is ruling the planet. Yeah, no.
Okay. The white mice have obviously failed to program the computer properly.
42.
Oh, good
Yep.
Adams reference.
Big Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy now. There's a program and a half. And I'm not talking about the remake movie, which was pants. I'm talking about.
It was
the original.
pants, but Alan Rickman was a
Alan
surprise
Rickman's good,
for
but
me playing the robot.
See,
Yeah.
I quite agree. Alan Rickman's good, but no matter what person's in a movie, it cannot save it.
It is a
You
book
can have
that can
great
never
actors
be
in a
made
crap
to a
movie. The
film.
movie's still crap.
But it is a book that can never be made to a film.
Well, it was originally
radio.
wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the thing is that the complex nature of the entire book, you cannot condense it down to a film because you would be stripping out so much of the core engine driving the story.
Well, you want to have a look at there's I think Dominic Noble did a series of reviews on Hitchhiker's Guide. I think he's done one where he's actually did one where the interconnectivity, and you see diagram the connectivity, and it's all over the place. Radio, TV, book, TV. You know, it's amazingly interconnected.
Yeah, definitely is. But I think you're right. The mice. If I was the mice, I would be telling everybody,
destroy it and start again.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, turn it off and turn it on again.
and I switch off and switch back on, reboot. But in effect, that's what I'm saying. It's funny. I was just watching it and I'm sitting there thinking, pity that didn't actually work. Wipe the whole of the human race out, because it's a difference a year and a half, mate. I was just thinking at that point, pity. But I must admit, I still enjoy this season. I love the fact that they take the piss out, as you said, out of all the characters. They have a laugh and a joke, and everybody has a laugh and a joke. You look at the sheriff. He tells everybody he wants to be known as Big Black, and you've got the snowflake mayor. Oh, I can't do that. That's not appropriate. Well, it's appropriate if the guy tells you what to call him.
It's going to be interesting to see if the mayor's personality changes at all because of
I don't think it will, because remember
hope
when the sheriff actually threatens to draw a penis on his boot?
I hope he does. I hope he doesn't.
The fact
because
that he stepped back
such
so
a
quickly.
good character. He's a good character, even though he's written because of the way he's written, the way he is.
Mhm.
It's a good character for
See, I think all of the characters are good to an extent. There's one or two I'm really annoying and I don't like, but I can understand why they're there. But you've got the two women, Marcy and what's the other one? Cooper, is it Cooper?
Asta.
It could be Asta.
Asta's
No,
the
Asta. No, Asta. Asta's the best friend. Is it Cooper?
Kate.
The
I'm not sure who's
It's
Judy.
the other. It's the slut.
Yeah, Judy. Yeah,
Judy.
I've had trouble remembering who half the characters that works. I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it since it finished. I really could have re-going through it. I'm thinking, okay, well, hold on a second. Well, I remember that. I remember Marcy. Sorry, who's this other one? Who's this other one that suddenly looks exactly like her? What? Might have to be watch season 1 between now and next week.
Yeah. Yeah. So Darcy and Judy, the way they talk to each other about what they did at school, and they basically go slagging each other for sleeping around. That you could not get in a program nowadays, and yet it's in a modern new program, and it doesn't forced. It doesn't seem they're there to shame anyone. It's just two women who have known each other all their life, except
Oh my God,
what they did when they were at school, and they have a laugh and a joke at it.
I've just
And the two of them are the
noticed
best.
who's doing the voice of the octopus.
Who did the voice of the octopus?
Mal Bloody Reynolds. It's Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion is the octopus.
I didn't realise that.
No, I didn't. I've just got down there and said, what's Nathan Fillion doing? Oh my God, he's the octopus voice. Which reminds me, I've still got about 3 episodes of The Rookie to watch. I kind of lost interest in that halfway through this series.
But there you go. Nathan Fillion, I would not have recognised that voice at all.
No.
I've noticed in season 2, have they get rid of the special agent, the psycho one, and Linda Hamilton?
Linda Hamilton, as much as I love the lady, especially from Terminator, but
I disliked her in Chuck.
She was just like telephoning in her character. She was trying to do a Sigourney Weaver in the film Paul. If you see that one.
See, I didn't like her in Chuck. Character in Chuck was not a
Didn't they kill off the female agent anyway?
No, because the two of them, remember, she pointed the gun and just about to kill the colour guy, and the pedestrians walk past, and she goes, "Kill you later."
Oh, I know. I thought she had been. I thought she had taken him out. She had been taken out.
As I recall it, they're just driving off, and they
just drive off because it starts off with she just says to him, "Kill you later," and then in this episode of season 2, he's in that house of the doctor that they've kidnapped because obviously he's hiding out there because he obviously
no, they didn't kidnap. They kidnapped.
They did kidnap Dr. Ethan.
Dr. Ethan didn't kill him, did they?
No, they kidnapped him.
Just kidnapped. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to catch up where he was.
And he's hiding in the house because it's been cleared out, as if he's moved away.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing in it at the moment, but bearing in mind that this is only the first episode, so
yes,
you don't know if maybe they haven't put all the future.
Yes, but you've got things like Alan Tudyk is marked as 13 episodes, So
Oh
then,
yeah. Well,
Well,
I understand that.
I'll jump in since we're on the Dr. Ethan one. I'm slightly disappointed in the choice of actor. He's supposed to be really handsome and gorgeous and like buff.
I know he didn't even look like me at all. He did not look like me at all. I couldn't understand that.
Exactly. He did not convince me as someone that is, and I'm saying this as a straight guy that I fancy ladies, but I'm just going saying, really, they choose him over Alan Tudyk? No. I'd still think Alan Tudyk has the charm and the charisma and all of that, despite playing like a stiff alien. He still has more charisma than this guy. So I felt that they could have brought someone else in, or allowed the character that the actor that they brought in to be more suave, more smooth with ladies and everything. But instead, they're just shoving him into
They
montage.
tell you that he's handsome. They tell you how popular he is, but they
But
don't
he
show it.
isn't.
They don't show it.
Yeah, they don't show it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like putting okay, this is an unfair representation, but George Lazenby to Roger Moore as James Bond. Who would you believe to be able to charm women more?
If it's of interest, on the full I was looking for the episode on the full expanded list for the cast, for the full cast group for the series. Linda Hamilton is down as 4 episodes 2021, whereas for example Alan Tudyk is 13 episodes 2021 to 22.
Yeah,
so
in the same
so suggestive that
if you have IMDb Pro, you will get the more than like the unconfirmed or yet to be credited.
Yeah, who's want to pay $9 a month for that?
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying,
again, Ethan Stone appears to only 3 episodes. So, and yet others are showing us 2021 to 22, which suggests to me that that some of those characters are coming back and some of those characters aren't coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few characters I know
if it would be up to me, I want to keep the kids in the TV show. The Max's mom and dad, they can just go away. We don't need them. The way the storyline for them is played, you can remove them completely with all the horse riding and whatnot scenes.
You can get rid of them,
I definitely want Asta and the 2 friends of Asta. Obviously, Alan Tudyk. The sheriff and the deputy, I think they got something there, but I don't think they dare play it yet. I think they're holding the cards too close to the chest.
No. Do you know the deputy was only meant to be a bit part, but the chemistry between the two of them made her part expand because of the chemistry.
I definitely like that
see a romantic between the two of them at all.
I don't think romantic.
Down the good friends route, and that'll be it. I don't see any relationship in the future for the two of them. I think
that is definitely a route they shouldn't touch. It's the equivalent of Moraine in Wheel of Time banging the seat of Amarylline. No, you don't bang your boss. Full stop. Sad, you're my boss. Nope.
Sorry, that's just a crap program. They actually have no concept of it. Remember, these people actually think that's the only way they can get a promotion.
No.
So they think that's normal. How do you think most of them got to write on a show?
How do you think most people got into Hollywood?
I don't think, to be fair, she's banging her boss. I think she probably fell in love with, went into a relationship with a fellow Aes Sedai who became her boss. In other words, I think I was surprised at that because but I thought, oh god, of course she's a lesbian. But I think I would read it that it's the idea is it's been a long-standing relationship and it happened and it's been going on for quite a while, probably before Liz 10, because I can't remember the character's name, became the Amelin Seed. Thank you. Before she actually, because I'm sure they mentioned something about them being
accepted together.
Yeah. So they've got a long history. So I suspect that came out.
But
I don't know. Could be wrong.
this is where the story really falls apart because she's been away for 20 years. And according to the TV show, the only way that she can get to their, shall we say, intimate chamber secret room thing
The only
is
way she
from
can
her
get
room
to her seat.
opening the wall carving thing.
Yeah.
That's how she can get to it. So she's been away for 20 years, so she doesn't have the magical portal so she can get into this place. So they haven't seen each other for 20 years.
Oh, I didn't think she'd been away for 20 years. I thought they've been looking for the kids for 20 years, but I don't think she'd
been away for 20
she'd been
years.
away from the White Tower for 20 years. I'm sure she'd only been going a few years.
See, I think you're right there. The way it is she's been searching, but she's not been away from the White Tower that whole time.
TV show doesn't expand on that, so I'm following what the
TV show in the book basically just mentioned about she's been away for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can understand that you're lovers, you have a companionship, whatever. But are you telling me someone you dated 20 years ago, you really enjoyed their company, they turn up today, it's like boom, straight into bed?
Nope. Again, that's why I don't think she was. I think she'd been away, back. She's been away on search. She's come back. She's been away. Maybe she's been away longer than she should have been. But that's you know. I mean, my impression of it is that she's been out and back, out looking and back, out looking and back. And this last time she's been out for quite a long time, perhaps. But I don't think she's been out wandering around the world for 20 years searching.
But that is what the TV show is trying to tell you.
Yeah, I mean that's not the impression that I got from it. But then again, I have to admit, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't.
This is why I like discussing these topics because you have the impression that okay, you've added your own materials, and I will admit I add my own material on top of things when I see it on TV. The forest scenes, the cities, the villages, they look more amazing in my mind than is actually displayed on the screen because I do add that little extra, a little bit of history, a little bit of background because I've read so many things. So I kind of agree with that. But when I'm looking at is because the show was so boring, sadly, I was just looking at the script lines, what they were showing on scenes. Objectively, Moiraine's been away for 20 years. She got her Aes Sedai ring. They got the mission because of the previous Amerlin seed. No, it was someone else. They actually keep that one correct. It's someone else. She's not Amerlin seed. She has that vision. She's blind as a bat and everything. She can't see anything, but she's delivering a prophecy. And ever since then, according to the TV show, Moraine's been out there searching, literally crawling through towns, tavern, pubs, villages, everything, just to try and find her. She's not been back. That's why they want to bring her back and say, you should not leave again.
If she's not been back for 20 years, does that mean that lesbian and misogynist has had a boyfriend for 20 years? Because she obviously knows about the red girls, the red Aster's, not Aster, the red Azur's lover, right? And
I think Colin's right. I think Colin's right. Basically, it's not been 20 years. They just mentioned years.
Yeah,
he's been on the mission for 20 years, but they did mention years. Because every one of them have said you've not been back for a number of years. They never actually said 20 at all in it.
Yeah.
So they're implying that it's been a number of years she's been in and out. Because I think they even mentioned that she didn't even stay for long. She seems to just pop by whenever
Yeah.
she needs something.
Touch
But
base.
anyway, what are we talking about crap for when we're
This is
talking
very-
about Resident
you
Alien?
start. I think you started it.
I will own up to this. I
Jim.
apologize for
Oh,
bringing
Jim.
up the show that should not be mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
you're
Jim
no
that started.
kidding.
So we'll hashtag blame Jim for that one then.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
Well, there's only a binary choice.
It's his fault or it's not.
Yep.
You're binary or you're not. You're
I
binary
am
or
not
you're non-binary.
Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's binary. You're binary or you're non-binary. Make your mind up. It's
Well,
one or the other.
I reject it. I am definitely binary in this current political climate.
Hmm.
Do you like binary answers? Yes, no, or maybe.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, but you always should not Minbari because Minbari 3 is sacred.
Yes. The 9 has 3 T's.
Truth and truth is everyone says a 3
But
sword.
that
Which
is
actually
only
is quite a
true
good-
until the Len goes in and saying, piss off, I'm taking over.
Well, yeah, this is true.
But it also was the fact is the Council of 9
Yeah.
had 5 and 2 and 2. 2 warrior cast, 2 priest
Priest
cast,
and
5
through worker.
of the servant class,
No, not servant, worker.
worker class, aye.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So it was 3, 3, and 3 until it was 5, 2, and 2.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then that is a show we should probably go through because it's
Yeah, the
got so many
the problem
things,
is,
I've
and
already
it-
done it twice a week.
yeah,
it
the problem
does-
is there's 5 seasons, there's numerous movies, there's spin-offs. There are 4 good seasons, but there's 5 seasons. There's numerous movies, there's spin-offs. It's just basically, it's one of those ones you can dedicate a channel to the whole thing, and that's all you talk about because it could last you for years.
Yep.
Yes, it definitely would. And I know a lot of people out there and they're so passionate about it. And although I
Mhm.
don't have the time, some of the people I do see, there's a reason. It's not Fat Steven. Is it?
Yep.
It's
Fat
Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
yes.
Steven Seagal does
and-
one on Monday, and the
Mhm.
Ambassador Wooing does one on Friday, but I'm in both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually catch the one on Monday. The Friday one, I'm usually busy.
Mm.
Yeah, I try to tune into them, but I can never catch them live because either we're doing a live stream or I have to dedicate the time to watch something that we are supposed to talk about, whether it's the Wednesday, the Saturday, or the Sunday stream. And I say,
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up. So it's literally the morning coffee. It's like, that's interesting. It's like forward 2 minutes. It's like,
There's
okay, you're
times
talking
like
about
that I can catch up Friday streams, but I think this week I didn't even catch Friday night takes.
No, I
So-
did the worst thing for me when it came to this Friday Night Lights. And it looked like they had interesting guests on. But I watched the beginning. So the cheeky montage clips and obviously the intro music. And I realized they changed the intro music a little bit.
Mhm.
Ass did not get as much airtime as he usually does because he's loading the bazooka and putting it up and everything. In this one, most of that was cut out because they made place for the other guys to keep the song safe. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then I didn't have time. But I do think I do have 5 days. I don't know how my work week is going to be. So I might actually be able to catch the rest of it. Because I do enjoy just the banter, the way they talk freely. And I think the guys are now up to what 15,000 live viewers per stream.
Yeah.
15,000. It's like CNN when they have breaking news about like a massive thing, they get about 2,000 views. But
25
Friday Night
people.
Times has 15,000. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So
Well,
really well
we're
done.
almost the same. Sometimes we get 15.
Hey, I think we had 15 last night, didn't we?
Yes, we had 15 concurrent. So we did.
Clearly, we're doing something wrong.
Or doing something. Full stop.
Yeah.
We're basically, as I said, we're basically having a chat with a load of friends on stream.
Well, so the thing is, the thing is, like last night, I was on. I started watching Eris of Chaos. Eris was doing. Oh, I know what she tends. She used to start at 8. She's gone back to 6 or 6:30 our time, and she was doing a stream. With a couple of others where they were she does response streams, and the one she was doing last was responding to some woman who was listing 40 something along the lines of 40 problematic authors she won't read, and she managed to cover all of this, including the introduction, in 23 minutes. So yeah. J.K. Rowling, this author's transphobic. Next point, but I was about a couple of hours of that, and then I went over to you guys. Wednesday was 7. I think it was you guys, and then I go over to the times I'm either watching, go from one to another, watch something, wait for them finishing another one or whatever. So yeah, sometimes Sunday nights or Saturday nights perhaps are quite popular. You get several streams to watch at the same time, which is why you don't perhaps get as many as you might.
Yeah,
I think
a Sunday night's the only night after I finish streaming I get ready for my kit, because I've got work in the morning, because I know a Monday's always the busy one.
I think I'm fairly blessed in terms of the fact that I'm based in the United Kingdom. A lot of the streaming channels that I love to be there live, the New York, the Mid America, the West America,
Coast.
so the West Coast America, so like California and everything. And the timing is fairly fortunate, so you can catch a few of them live, but it usually means I'm up until like 1 o'clock in the morning catching up on them. And then obviously I have to go up to 7 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock if I want a shower and a good cup of coffee and all of that. So obviously a little bit sleep, but luckily I'm partially insomniac.
Yeah,
so I don't need much sleep. Yeah.
And we always cut out one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it is still I like the format, and it's bringing something we're still being forced here in UK. It's the TV license. By law, you pay or you go to jail. Well, you don't go to jail. You pay £1,000.
Oh no, you go to jail.
Yeah,
There's
but
still a percentage of everybody who doesn't pay their TV license ends up in jail. And
exactly. I disconnected my TV devices and everything. So if someone comes in, they can literally see. I haven't just unplugged it. I cut the cable. So if they come in and say, "Oh, but you just plug it," oh, you can't plug this in. I've actually cut the cable and say, I cannot watch live TV, which is the way they say, "Oh, you watch BBC and everything."
Don't have to let them in.
Yeah,
you don't have to let them in. Yes, I know, but if
that's another thing why people actually still think the TV detector vans are a thing, or ever a thing.
Hey, that's the name of my Wi-Fi network. BBC licensed TV van.
Mine's used to be MI5. When I stayed in the high-rise flats,
I don't fear MI5.
Basically, when I stayed in the high-rise flats, it was the drug squad. So stuff like that, yes. I used to actually have a lot like that, but I used to have mine as MI5 and stuff like that where it depends where I was staying or stuff like that.
Trust me, your Wi-Fi router is definitely left alone if you name it the BBC licensed TV van. I used to do MI5, MI6, DCDC, DCHQ, and there were people like trying to get into my printer and everything, and it's like accidentally connected my network. As soon as I changed it to BBC licensed TV van, I haven't even had someone accidentally sending in package network package. It's like, hey, do you have a network? It's like, oh, nope.
My sister used to get that because she got a new Wi-Fi and she says it was running slow. I says, well, what I'll do is I'll change your password. And then my nephew would get a phone call. You changed your password? We can't get on. And it was the people across the road. And then basically my sister found out and says to stop giving my password. So I changed the password again. And I changed it, and then I reset it all up.
Penny's a thieving bastard.
People are still trying to access it and constantly hack it. So I hid it. I basically just had to get it so it didn't broadcast. You could only connect if you knew the name. So I changed the name and changed the password.
SSID.
So made sure the SSID was hidden, and it was a weird one. But yeah, it's amazing how many people do that. Mine's I've changed my password maybe once a week.
Oh, you see, I'm slightly devious. I don't leave it open. I leave it so you can find it, and then I have logging devices, so I can see everything you do. Because you're coming through my network, I can see everything.
Oh yes, if anybody comes in, if I give them the password when they're away, I disable it, so they're off. But it's the same again. Yes, I basically authorize it online. I never people put the password in and they're saying it's still not connecting. Then I go in and I'll say, "Yep, you can access my network."
I don't have one.
And if I don't recognise one, if somebody's changed the name of their phone, I've had that.
I'm more along the line. If you're gonna steal my Wi-Fi, my network, I have the right to see what you're up to.
No, I used to do it with my daughter. When I stayed in the high-rise flats. I got them to actually put it all in. So the plug for the connector and everything came through my room. So I could have the internet, and I just went, so unplugged the TV and unplugged the router, and I just basically put a router in so it was hardwired into my base unit. So all I just went to the Wi-Fi unit to the TV. If anybody was annoying me, no connection to anybody. 250 meg Virgin router all to myself. 250 meg. Basically, I paid for that line for myself. And if anybody annoyed me or
I'm currently looking up into the stratosphere to see this conversation going over my head.
Yeah, well, the higher the number, the
we're
faster.
talking about we are controlling the communication. So if we're going back through history, the Caesar cipher.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I just well, I've got my Wi-Fi plugged in. I just don't have my Wi-Fi switched on unless I'm using it most of the time, to be quite honest. It's something on.
I could probably advise on a few like basic things. You will feel like, what is this wizardry? Burn the witch. You're probably going to go that way, but trust me, it's
no, I'm aware there. It's not something I'd ever really thought about.
It's one of those things, but most things are going to be device orientated. You look at things like your Alexa.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Shut up, Alexa.
Then you're going to have other things that are connected to it without you realizing, because it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But it's even them. I always check to see what's there. So I do. But anywho, I went.
Hey.
What we're going to do is we're going to aim to finish in 10 minutes. So before we do that, I want each of us to go around. Colin,
Yeah.
What did you think of season 2 opener? A good point, a bad point, and a score out of 10.
Ooh. The bad point is going to have to be the icky. Let's put the kid in the sex scenes. I think that is indicative of, I think, of some of the bad writing.
Yeah.
What I like most, I actually liked. I must admit. I mean, I liked the. It was quite funny that the way Harry, the alien, was thought he was Lenny Briscoe.
Yes.
What I really did like was an even better in joke for that was when he's talking to Ass and he thinks she's a
CI.
I see, and put on like that, and he turned around and says, "Am I going to have to talk to the guy? Am I going to have to talk to Stabler and Benson?" In other words, he pushes it one further to one of the spin-off series as well. I thought that was quite nice. That,
Yeah.
Um.
So, what did you think of the episode as a whole then?
Oh, it's very good. I mean, it's just I think the slight problem they're going to have, I think, and it's unavoidable, is that the whole thing all the way through the first season was okay. He's there to blow up the planet. Okay, he's changed his mind. He's not going to blow up the planet anymore. So they've now got to find some way to bring that or something even worse back in. It's a little bit.
They have done,
which they have done, but I mean, it's a little bit like one of the complaints you get about Star.
Yeah.
He finally get rid of the golden replicators, and then they had to bring in the OI because they need another big bad. That I think is something that they're gonna, because of the way they ended season 1, they're gonna have to do. They've done it quite well. I'm not sure about the squids or ancestors. My people are ancestors of squids either. I think there were 1 or 2 bits in there that were a little bit. Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it, and I'm most certainly waiting for episode 2. I hate scoring things. I would say 8, and that's just I'm not scoring things is not something
the score is basically just how much you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean,
how much you'd recommend it, I suppose, isn't it? The higher your score is, the better you enjoyed it, and you would like people to actually enjoy it as well.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Scoring is also temporal. You love it today, you may hate it tomorrow.
Yeah, and it may it's distinctly possible. If in worst case scenario, that 8 might become a 10, and everything else will become a 1 or a 2 because or that 8 might become a 6 and everything else because I can't go because something just gets so much better that I can't go higher than 10. So yeah, exactly. It's a relative to each particular episode as well.
Yep, definitely. But there you go. Right, Jim, what did you think of the episode? A good point, a bad point, and score at 10.
Let's begin with the good point then. I actually felt welcomed back to the TV show. As in, I mean, they respected the original material. I actually felt welcome back to this TV show. It was nothing I dreaded, but it actually had a warm feeling. It's like, hey, we're not changing the concept. We're not changing anything. We're not like just gonna steamroll. We changed direction completely. Mm-hmm. It's like, welcome back. You saw this before. This was the first season. Here is a good. We're bringing you back. What I didn't like was the really obvious use of Deus Ex Machina, as in, okay, we're drilling ourselves far too deep with the whole amnesia. I forgot everything, and then just Squid, boom, he's back, completely normal. Well, normal for him,
Yeah.
but uh, it is still. I like the resident alien character that Alan Tudyk is playing.
Mm.
He's a little bit out of his depth, but you also have that. It's almost MacGyver for me. If you remember the original MacGyver TV show, where he's having a little bit of narrative over, and then the show starts and plays and everything. But here you have it. Every now and then he does his monologue to you without breaking the fourth wall. It's more like reading a diary, discovering things. And I think they kept that really well within this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that is the strong point that the show has, and I will give that to the first episode. Overall, scoring feels unfair, but again, I think they tempered some characters. Like we were passionately discussing Sahar for half an hour. It looks like she's been tempered a little bit. I can't say that it will stay or last, because they need someone to dump these expositions into. And she still feels like the obvious go-to choice. But again, I like the girl, lady, whatever you want to call her, because even though she's given a bad line, you can see there is a cheeky humor in there. It's kind of like casting George Carlin or Robin Williams, and they're supposed to deliver just that one really bad punchline, but they will deliver it with gusto. She can do that. So regardless how bad the line she's been given, the script and everything, this is why I'm defending her. She's delivering it with cheeky humor, that stuff. But overall, I feel actually welcomed back to season 2. So I'll say overall 6.5. Definitely something I will keep watching. Was it the best thing I've ever seen? No. Do I recognize a lot of the tropes and stereotypes they play? Absolutely. But overall, I enjoyed this. I'm definitely catching up on next episode.
And is there anything better on TV at the moment?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not like
think-
it's got good competition, Colin.
Exactly.
Well, there is that as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
See for me, I suppose, how did this episode feel? I think it was a good start to bring people in. If you haven't watched the show, it gives you enough that you don't need to watch it, or think, I'll go back and watch season 1. But if you haven't watched season 1, it allows you to come in and watch it without feeling lost. It's a restart. It's a kick into the next part of the story. Enough hints to tell you what happened. Enough previously on to tell you what happened, but also enough that the story is disconnected from the first one that you don't need to go back. So as a season 2 opener, I think it's a very well done one. What I liked about it, I suppose similar to what I liked previously, Harry himself. Yes, there's a lot of tropes, but the way Alan Tudyk does it and the way the writers have done it is they take those tropes and they flip them on their head. Because yes, the alien coming to the planet and learning. How did they learn? He watched telly, so hence the reason why at the beginning it was gung, gung, when he was talking about that, and he would talk about silly things that somebody said something, and he would sort of something. It was like Mork and Mindy. He would from an advert, he would repeat it. Mork and Mindy did that. It was a lot of things that he would repeat. It was things that were on the TV at the time. Even some of the jokes the show they're quite open to it. Like for instance, Harry says that I'm getting worse. My mind's gone. The girl is actually found out about it, and Max says, "Don't worry, she's squared it with Allah." Allah, how many people have you told? Not understanding that, so he's had the joke not at the religion's expense, but he's brought it in as part of the joke. It's the same as when you've got Big Black. The sheriff keeps on telling people, "Call me Big Black," and Harry says, "Is it because of your car?" It subverts that trope. It's not a case of, is it because you're tall and you're black? It's not. It's because you've got a big black car. He doesn't notice that the sheriff's black. So it's very well done, but it made the joke out of it. And that's what I like. They've had jokes even at the Indians' expense. Oh, you've been talking to my father when he was saying I'm one of the people. No, you've been talking to my father. It's almost a case of this stuff.
Oh, it's a very nice Braveheart film reference there that you managed to bake in.
Yeah.
You've been talking to my dad.
Exactly. But it's that type of thing. It's a case of even here, they still played into those tropes. They had fun with at everybody's expense. They didn't laugh at people. They brought them in for the jokes, so they weren't mean spirited. However, my least favourite part, there was a couple, unfortunately. The bit with the parents was creepy as hell, and the fact they were showing what they were doing in the privacy of their own room seemed right out of it, and it seemed just as if somebody's decided, let's have a sex scene in there. You can't have a sex scene. Okay, let's show them what they would be doing if they were completely naked, but enough so people understand what they're doing. To me, that was just creepy. The fact is,
But
you
he
do when the
acting in that looked awkward. Oh, here you're gonna be in Victoria's Secret underwear. You're gonna be there, and you're gonna have a whip or a spank paddle or
But
whatever.
it's a case of it seemed out of it because it was incongruent with the rest of the season previously and this episode. The fact is they were getting overly touchy in front of the sheriff, the deputy, their son. Just was weird as hell. The other part I disliked was I wish they'd actually crash landed the spaceship in an out of the way place. On the field while they're playing baseball, and you see the bit where a wind blows up a paper and it sticks on it. Yeah, it would have been
but you would never get around to the alien balls. And balls being the imperative word there.
Yeah.
Yes. Not like they're marbles. They're balls.
Yes, but I'm saying is that part just seemed too nah. I would have if it had crashed and it was at the end of a lane and the two kids could sort of stand there and it's not as if somebody's going to walk down that lane, and if anybody does, they're there just to actually sort of put them off or steer them away, or else keep them away from it because they could be playing there and hopefully whoever comes down goes past them. So but it's the fact it's in the middle or at the end of the thing, and there you see the kids walking past, about to walk right past where that was. So it's obviously not at the edge. So the kids come one way, and then you see them coming in to play baseball from another way. You see the father coming in from a different direction, and he's to come and pick them up in the car and the bikes and stuff like that. It's a case of it's part of the baseball field, but it's part of the park where the kids go skating. But it's next to the road where the dad just comes and collects them, and you're sitting there thinking, there's no way on earth nobody's seen that. Yeah. If something blows up, it sticks to it, people are going to go.
I think they I suspect they put it there because they
wanted bits like that, and that's
not only that, but by putting it there, they kind of had to have Harry destroy it.
Yes, but they could have put it anywhere in the town. It's just that it was maybe a wee bit out the way.
Oh, I see what you mean.
No way in earth that people who are coming to that basketball thingy seeing all the air turned up, and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
one of them are going to go, "What happened here?"
Yeah.
The mayor is not going to turn around and go, "What happened here?" He's just going to ignore it as if it's nothing.
Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I take your point. Yeah,
You
yeah.
see what I mean?
yeah.
That's what I mean. I think if they'd actually, if it was out the way somewhere where that didn't make it, it's no noticeable unless you get right up to it. So where
Yeah.
the kids could play it maybe at the end of a lane and try and put people off and down the lane so they don't see it, it would have worked a bit better. But the fact is, it's in the middle of this field where people come quite a lot, but not one person mentioned it's all churned up since the day before.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It just seemed that part that
Yeah.
annoyed me.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
The wee girl, it just seemed a wee bit too brainy, but at least they're calming her down. I think it didn't go as bad. So for bad parts or not bad, they're just a wee bit annoying because it just seemed a wee bit too obvious up front, and then you're meant to actually believe it. Nobody noticed this big basketball field, baseball field suddenly ripped up from the day before, and nobody's even mentioned it. Not even the mayor. Not even the team have turned around and goes, "Oh, what's that?" It's that type of thing. You imagine if it's a place you see once a week, and then suddenly you go in, and it's all ripped up, and you're going to say, you would go, "Right, let's start."
Yeah.
Big hole in the ground over there. Or just don't back down that way. But they keep doing it. They have,
I very much agree to that, and especially seeing that the threat is they will knock the ball frequently into this. It's like, would that even be fair playing ground?
yes.
It's like, oh, you're gonna have to jump through mud and everything. It's like pick up the ball if you get it.
Exactly.
It's like it's
It's
not
just
gonna be
the fact.
fair.
Yeah. So that was annoying. But I could understand why they did it, because they wanted the kids to be, and then people actually have got a chance of finding it. And it just seemed too obvious, and it just
Yeah.
seemed too much out there. That was a bit that annoyed me. The bit I really liked is the relationship between the sheriff and the deputy. It's basically the last season. I just thought he is an arrogant prick. She's doing the stuff, and she's got some ideas, and he just treats the dog better. And it's just an arrogance. It wasn't about toxic masculinity or anything like that. He was just an arrogant prick. He did it, treated everybody the same way. However, when she turns around and says, "I quit," I'm going to indict me. I'll take that. Don't want to waste food. And she just walked out, but she just seemed to ignore him, and she would have a smile when he was in there. And then he comes out and does the singing and gets her back. And the two of them sit and talk, and he's saying that that's a good play, and it's a bit more respect. I think their dynamic is improved immensely because of that, and I quite enjoyed that for it. What I would give it out of 10, I would actually give this about an 8 as well. It is a good start off point if you've never seen the first one. You don't need to see the first season because they've given you enough of what happened to know what happened. So what's happening now, it's understandable, and you can watch that. However, it also says, you might want to see season 1 because this is good. Go and see how it started. And I think it's a good enough program that I'm going to actually look forward to seeing it week by week.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They dropped it weekly rather than dropping it in one go to binge
Yes.
watch. Well,
yes. Remember, the weekend of Valentine's, I'm not going to be around, so that's the only Sunday I'm going to miss, which means that Sunday
Wait,
the
are
13th.
you gonna be cheating on us on
Sunday the
Valentine's?
13th, I can actually do one of two things. You can actually come on and chat about it, because I can give you admin rights to StreamYard. So you can set it up, and I could set it up, and you could just come in and run it, go live and stuff like that. Or we skip it for that week and do two episodes the next week. So I'll leave that to you two.
so do we let PJ? Do we let PJ have a romantic weekend with the missus on the 14th, on February the 14th?
That's right. I need to take my missus.
Sorry,
it's a dad joke. It's a dad joke.
I'm definitely saving that as a clip and sending it to your missus. I don't know who she is or where she is, but I'll send it.
If my camera goes off and I come back like that, you'll know she's standing right there.
Yeah.
I would expect a more iron kind of shaped face, like a
Yeah.
scar in your face from
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Ah,
No, I do think it's good to have a few breaks,
yeah.
even if
Yeah.
we're going off on different adventures. But if there would be from the audience, the chat and everything, and saying it would be interesting, just a couple of hours, have a good chat, good catch up. I think we could do it, but I think having a few good breaks is healthy.
Yeah.
Because we do 3 shows a week.
Yeah,
But
Mr. Brown's asked me to come on and do a Judge Dredd one, but I need to know that I'm just waiting for time.
Yeah, and we have one that wants to interview us each
Yes.
individually
Yeah.
on a singular topic. And I'm just
Yep.
going, it's like, I scrambled my mind. It's
Okay.
like Spider-Man and
See, that's the thing.
cooking or
What singular
biking
topic?
or
It's a case of you look at my room around me. Classic TV show, classic movie, classic magic, Doctor Who, Ash v the Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, Star Trek, Babylon 5. Pick a subject.
It's like,
Yeah.
I can't.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. It's with me, it's one of these pick a subject because I very rarely stick to a subject because I've got a vast, I enjoy quite a lot of different things.
But it's been like this evening. I discovered you are not as happy with one character as I am.
Mhm.
But I
And that's the
understand
thing.
you translated your reservations, not the fact that you were gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go tell Twitter support that his Twitter channel has to be deleted forever.
Uh-huh. And
I
that's
like
the
the
thing.
fact that
The two of us love the show, enjoying it. We dislike wee bits here and there. We've got disagreements about it, but it makes no difference because we still can talk about it, and that's what it should be.
exactly we both know we have the passion for the show. There is just individual items. I love ABC, Colin loved XYZ, and you loved 679. It is completely different, but all of that brought it together. It's why we like this team.
And not only that, but you've also got the fact that because you you had a different view on the research, so I could say, okay, I hadn't thought of that perhaps, or I see where you're coming from. I don't find it quite as bad, but that's an interesting, it's a different take on it.
Yeah.
And you can give you a more rounded take on something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even if we don't like something, we can understand why other people do.
Yeah.
Or if we can also understand why, if we like something, why other people don't. And that's the difference. It's not a case of, but I'm right, so you are gone. It's a case of, I think I'm right, and I think you're wrong, but you're not gone. We can just disagree.
Exactly,
I'm
and I
right
think
for
you
me,
nailed
but I'm
it
not
on the
right for you,
head.
but I'm not you.
I am right, and you are gone.
Yep.
Not you are wrong.
Yeah.
It is never that discussion when you see the awake people, because I'm not gonna say that name. It is like, oh, you disagree with me. That character is the best thing ever, and if you happen to like any other character, I'm gonna delete your YouTube channel. No, I want to know why you love Doctor Who. I want to know why you, Colin, why you love history, why you love archery. I want, even though I don't have the connection that you have, tell me about it. Give me the insight. Give me the ideas, the concept, who, what, when, what. What was it that brought you in? And even if I don't do it tonight, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, I will go say, oh, he mentioned something about this and this and this. Okay, let's look at that angle. And I will go and do that. Okay, still not my favorite, but I can actually relate.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, different program. I'm stinking Law and Order for some reason. I don't know why. Must have been his program. Anyway, aliens, humans, everybody in between, my fellow octopi, or just a bunch of pie, or is it alien? Use humans. You know what it's like. You must enjoy pain almost as much as you enjoy pie, which I think is one of the best lines of that episode. However, join us again next Sunday for episode 2 of Resident Alien. Join us on Wednesday for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Join us on Saturday for Talking DC.
I love the character play that I forget his name. He's been in tons of things, but his
Alan Tudyk.
distress at that scene where it's being wrecked. You don't need words. You just need someone expressing the emotion. And this is a very old film, but relative. But it's a very old film with some really great acting.
Yep. So definitely join us for Ferris. It is fun. So, Colin, thank you again for joining us. Jim,
Welcome.
thank you again. And there's Wens already for Wednesday. But then again, it's not his fault. He was just trying to reset the mileometer. So, ladies and gents, we're going to finish up there. Thank you for joining us. And remember, I'm not old. I'm classic.